what's happened is something's happening different in Portland than really most of the rest of the country. And a couple of things I think that are interesting about that is that this was happening at a time. You'll hear a lot of people say, oh, you can't work on the issue of global warming because it'll ruin the economy. This was absolutely during the time where Oregon's had its strongest economy ever. And it was a time where growth was happening and jobs were being created and more people wanted to move to Portland. And so before I'm going to go through some of the different kinds of things that are going on in the city, the main two messages I'd say that there are out of this is that, first of all, none of this happened because of global warming. None of these improvements, the reductions in CO2 emissions, didn't happen because anyone cared about the issue of global warming. It happened because people wanted a more livable, walkable place to live in. They wanted to cut their costs for business. They wanted to reduce energy use in their home because they wanted to cut their bills, or they wanted it to be more light-filled or more comfortable. They cared about affordable housing for renters. They wanted to reduce traffic congestion. So there are 100 other reasons to take the exact same action you would take to reduce carbon dioxide emissions or methane emissions, but you would do it for some other reason. And then the second thing is, so that the important part of that is you can have a conversation about this with business, with residents, with your grandmother, with your kids, with whoever, and you don't have to talk about global climate change. They don't have to believe. And that was really important up until about 18 months ago, I'd say, where now things have changed, where I think public opinion kind of is like, oh, actually maybe this is real, has really shifted. But until recently, you would do these exact same things for a whole lot of other different reasons. And the second point really is because we added up the numbers and we can really show where the emissions have changed, what we realize is that all of this happened because literally millions and millions of decisions were made every day by thousands and thousands of people that reduced energy use. And it did it because people made specific decisions to buy something different or basically to do something different. So every decision you make every day, when I think about sustainability, this is how I try to explain it to people. It's like, everything we do today affects the future and the world that our kids are going to inherit. And so, how you got here today, what the lights are like in the room, what food you ate today, how far it came from, whether there were pesticides on it, all the different kinds of things that you do every single day, you think don't have much of an impact because you're just one person. But when you add up the numbers, you find out that actually millions of little decisions really do add up. So I just think that's really important.